Letting number 8695, employee parking lot, fence and gates installation at City of St. Louis Water Division. We have no bids.
Hearing number 8230. Hearing number 8230 is being conducted pursuant to Chapter 8.24 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The applicant, Back Together Family Massage, is proposing to operate a massage establishment at 4717 Hampton Avenue, City of St. Louis. As outlined in Section 8.24 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service may issue a license following a hearing if all the requirements for a massage establishment are met unless they find A, the operation as proposed by the applicant, if permitted, would not have complied with all applicable laws, including but not limited to building, health, city planning, housing, zoning, and fire codes of the city. B, the applicant and any other person who will be directly engaged in the management and operation of a massage establishment has been convicted of Item 1, a felony not involving sexual misconduct with children, obscenity, keeping or residing in a house of ill fame, solicitation of a lewd or unlawful act, prostitution, or pandering. Item 2, an offense involving sexual misconduct with children. And Item 3, obscenity, keeping or residing in a house of ill fame, solicitation of a lewd or unlawful act, prostitution, or pandering. The Board of Public Service, BPS, in its discretion may authorize issuance of a license to any person convicted of any of the crimes in subsection B1 if it finds that the conviction occurred at least 3 years prior to the date of the application and the applicant has no subsequent convictions. BPS has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of Chapter 8.24 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, a completed application for a massage establishment license for 4717 Hampton Avenue. Item 3, a letter from the Interim Director of Health, Dr. Frederick Eccles, dated May 28, 2018, stated community sanitation staff inspected a facility at 4717 Hampton Avenue, City of St. Louis, and found no evidence of health code violations. Issuance of a license for massage establishment was recommended. Item 4, a copy of the Certificate of Occupancy and Zoning issued to Back Together Family Massage. Item 5, copies of public notices for this BPS hearing. Item 6, copies of letters sent from the Secretary of BPS notifying the applicant of this BPS hearing. Item 7, a copy of the Missouri Massage Therapist License for Back Together Family Massage. The Board of Public Service will swear in and hear from the representatives from the city departments, followed by the applicant and those in support of the application. The board will then allow those in opposition, if any, to address the board. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this board may have questions for you. Following this hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board asks first that the representative of the Department of Health please come forward and be sworn in.
5 miles, 2 3/4. That's all right. No. Thank you. Crowded.
Yes.
State your name for the board, please.
Anthony Elliott.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Did you perform an inspection of the proposed massage establishment, which is located at 4717 Hampton Avenue?
Yes, sir. Actually, I did inspection on May the 15th, and everything was fine. We didn't find any sanitation issues, any environmental issues. He had hot and cold running water. All of his stations were set up, and it was fine.
Okay. So you have determined or would recommend the proposed massage establishment does comply with all applicable health and safety laws and regulations as promulgated by the Director of Health?
Yes, I do.
And it's your recommendation then that a license be issued to the applicant to operate the massage establishment at this location?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further comments or thoughts on your point?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions from the board for the Department of Health?
And, sir, if you could state your title.
I'm an environmental health officer.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions from the board? Thank you very much for your testimony.
Sir.
The board asks any representative from the Office of the Zoning Administrator who may be present to come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. The board asks the applicant to please come forward and be sworn in.
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name for the board, please?
Nate Sloan,
Would you state your address?
3136 Edgar Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63143.
I have just a series of questions, if you wouldn't mind answering those for me, please.
Sure.
How many employees, if any, will you have at this establishment?
It is just me right now. I don't plan on adding anybody in the near future. So,
Okay. And do any and all of the masseuses or masseurs have their Missouri State massage therapist license?
yes.
You do? And have you complied with a police record check for the purpose of this application?
Yes.
And what were the results of that record check?
No record.
No record.
Anything.
Have you read and will you be able to comply with all the provisions of Chapter 8.24 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis, specifically Item 1? Do you understand that as an operator of this massage establishment, you are at all times responsible for the orderly conduct of this establishment and acts of any agents, servants, employees in the operation of the establishment?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that every portion of the proposed massage establishment shall be kept clean and operated in a sanitary manner?
Yes.
Will you be able to comply with all the operating regulations for massage establishments as provided in 8.24.130 of the revised code?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you would like to say to the board?
No. I think everything's pretty laid out there.
Okay. Questions from the board for our applicant today?
Just one question, sir. Have you engaged in this type of business previously?
Yes, I did. I had a business license in Columbia, Missouri. That was maybe a good 5 years ago. No, probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Did it lapse, or you allowed it to lapse, or was there a reason for?
No, it was. My wife was done with school, and we decided to move back to St. Louis. We're from St. Louis, and she was working on her PhD at Mizzou, and so yeah, I came back and I worked at Massage Envy for a while, and now it's time for me to have my own place again.
Thank you, sir.
Further questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's anyone in support of the proposed establishment that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. If there's anyone in opposition to the proposed establishment that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. The matter concerning hearing 8230 is now closed and submitted. The board will proceed with its regular agenda and will deliberate following the regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Here. Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
Director Augustin. Here. Director Eccles.
Here.
Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call this meeting to order.
From the President, preliminary approval for letting number 8696, reconstruction of taxiway Kilo from taxiway Foxtrot to Cargo Apron, St. Louis Lambert International Airport, St. Louis, Missouri. Contract and bond for letting number 8690, juvenile detention door and security control upgrade 920 North Vandervender, St. Louis, Missouri. Professional service agreement number 1230, professional engineering services for Jefferson and 22nd traffic flow and corridor improvements, federal project number CMAC 5417604 and STP 5417605. From the President and Directors of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Washington University School of Medicine for a public improvement to the street on Newstead Avenue from Clayton to Forest Parkway to create 5-lane roadway section and the addition of a westbound right turn lane on Clayton at Newstead. And Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District for repairs of combined sewer, replacement of curb inlet, new ADA corner ramp to be constructed with curbing and a section of sidewalk at 6200 through 6317 Wyoming. From the President and Director of Streets. Request from the Greenhouse Venture for a permit to build a handicap bump out similar to the handicap bump out program on Arsenal along Tower Grove Park between Grant and Kings Highway on the south side of I-44 embankment on Detoni between 39th Street and Thurman at the intersection of Lawrence and Detoni. This installation would help the Greenhouse Venture provide a more complete Terrence Garden, a component of the I-44 Embankment Education Garden, a 3.5-acre outdoor garden where students can put learning concept into action, conduct experiments, grow nutritious food, and strengthen their interests in bioscience and urban agriculture. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions. AT&T for the contractor to access handhold at 2873 Benton Street and bore approximately 1,000 feet south to Madison and then 100 feet east to right-of-way for Jefferson across from 2605 Madison. This is to provide service to the trailer for the NGA project. Lane closure will be needed. AT&T for the contractor to access manhole at south of 800 Market and bore 200 feet south, then 199 feet east to the manhole in the rear of 800 Market. This is to fiber service to 100 Courtney Way. Lane closure will be needed. MCI Metro access to bore in place 2.00-inch conduit starting at existing handhold located at the northeast west corner of 1000 Washington. Bore in place conduit for new fiber 140 feet east, then turn north for 80 feet across Washington into customer at 911 Washington. MCI Metro access to bore in place 2-inch conduit for new fiber starting at the southeast corner of 1326 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. Place new handhold and bore 781 feet south along the east side of North 14th Street and place new handhold at the rear of 1325 Washington. MCI Metro access to bore in place 2-inch conduit for new fiber starting at existing handhold located at the intersection of 205 North 18th Street. Bore fiber cable 35 feet northeast and place new handhold on the south side of parking lot located on the east side of street from 205 North 18th Street. Level 3 communications starting at existing Level 3 manhole at the intersection of South Spring and Gratiot, digging down to access and inner manhole, placing 3 1.5-inch ducts going west approximately 75 feet to west edge of Spring Avenue, then south along the west edge of Spring, approximately 450 feet, and place 24-inch by 36-inch vault in grass at south side of rear parking lot entrance to 3701 Shoto, etc. From the Director of Streets, an affidavit of Lions Apartments relating to the compliance of Section 10 of Ordinance 70900 dated January 25th, 2019, which provides for the conditional vacation of public air, surface, and subsurface rights for vehicle equation pedestrian travel in the southern 169 feet of the 15-foot wide north-south alley as bounded by Robert Vermont Cole and Alabama in the city of St. Louis. It is recommended that the president be authorized and directed to sign the attached certificate on behalf of the board, and the affidavit and certificate be returned to the undersigned to be filed for record on or before January 25th, 2020. An affidavit of U.S. Paint Corporation relating to the compliance of Section 10 of Ordinance 70870 dated December 11, 2018, which provides for the conditional vacation of public air, surface, and subsurface rights for vehicle equation and pedestrian travel in 10-foot wide north-south alley, the remaining portion of the 20-foot wide east-west alley, and 25-foot wide north-south alley in City Block 2273 is bounded by Union Pacific Railroad, 21st, Gratiot, and 22nd, and a portion of Gratiot beginning 134.01 feet east of 22nd and extending 73.5 feet eastwardly to a portion of Gratiot previously vacated by Ordinance 65340 in the city of St. Louis. It is recommended that the president be authorized and directed to sign the attached certificate on behalf of the board, and the affidavit and certificate be returned to the undersigned to be filed for record on or before December 11, 2019. Permits to SFC Lewis and Clark Terminals, LLC, SFC, the operator lessee of MRT. The permit allows SFC to use the property for storage for 90 days. Pursuant to Section 21.12.040 and 21.08.020 of the revised code of the City of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service may grant permits for up to 1 year to a permittee. A performance bond is required. The proposed permit and bond are attached. SFC asks for 90 days revocation after 30 days for a breach to permit due diligence on the property for storage only. There is no rent. It is recommended that this request be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. Recommendation that permit for Gateway Fireworks to hold firework display in Sublette Park on July 13, 2019 be approved subject to certain conditions.
All right. Hearing number 8230, 4717 Hampton Avenue, Back Together Family Massage. We heard from the Department of Health that the establishment complies with all applicable health and safety laws. We heard from the applicant that he is licensed, will comply with all provisions of Chapter 8.24 of the revised code, and there were no support or objections to this application. I'd like to open the floor up for any comments or questions from the board at this time.
I make a motion to approve the application.
Second. Moving second for approval of the application. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie? Aye. Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Augustin?
Aye.
Director Eccles?
Aye.
Director Edwards?
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Hearing 8230 is approved. I turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from July 2nd.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of last week's minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Eccles.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
I'd like to make a comment. I would like to pay special thanks to Sharice for getting that fireworks in at the 11th hour, so to speak. So if we drop the ball, we appreciate you getting it on. It's very important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Eccles.
Aye.
Director Edwards. And President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.